What are you all up to today?
Causing trouble.
Yeah, as usual, you know. Going to some gas pumps. That'll be what I do next, actually, and then actually doing some construction stuff. Is that good for you? Okay, very good. So I talked to Allison a little bit about what I wanted to talk with you about. So I've read through the task force's paperwork and documentation.
Sure.
And so one of the things that people are talking about today is this 13-cent new special motor tax proposal. What's your take on that proposal? Do you think it's a good idea or not?
Well, you haven't heard me talking about that today. These are very difficult times for people. We are in the middle of a recession. People are finding it difficult to meet their most basic obligations. Many people are. And as I have said, and I continue to say, I don't think this is an appropriate time for a tax increase. And I think that would include the proposed or the suggested 13% or 13-cent increase in the gasoline tax. I'm not saying that at some point in time it may be desirable to consider a course of action like that, but this is not the time, in my judgment, to put additional burdens on people, whether it's to buy gasoline or to do anything else that is necessary for people to keep family functioning and pay their bills and meet their obligations. I believe that many Ohioans today are having a really difficult time, and although gasoline prices went from over $4 a gallon a few months ago down to under $2 a gallon, we don't know how long that reduction will be realized at the gas pump, so I am not supporting that particular suggestion.
Viable option that you could talk with lawmakers about.
Regarding resources?
Regarding resources to fund some of the other great recommendations they have.
Great recommendations, and of course we're going to be getting some stimulus money that will deal with infrastructure from the federal government. We don't know exactly how much, but we do know it will be significant, and that will certainly enable us to perhaps address some of the suggestions that were in the study. We also have our own economic stimulus package here in Ohio. Part of that resource will be directed toward logistics, infrastructure development. And so I do believe that in the short term, we're going to have some significant additional resources for infrastructure use, and I'm happy about that. What the 21st Century Task Force looked at was a broader view of transportation issues in Ohio, and they addressed a number of things that we may need to do as we transition our transportation system in Ohio and make it more viable for the 21st century, and that would include such things as rail and making sure that we emphasize intermodal opportunities and improve our ports and identify choke points and eliminate choke points in our distribution network, and all of those things obviously are needed and are valuable suggestions, and we will take that report and look at ways to implement it.
Last thing really for me, what is next? What kind of action will we see next coming from this report, do you think? I know we're waiting to see how much money we'll get, as you mentioned,
yes.
But what will be next?
Well, we will look at the parts of the report that are implementable in the short term, that we can actually take actions on rather quickly, and then we will also try to redirect our resources appropriately after full consultation with the the legislators, and I think we will need to take a look at the track committee and the track process, because in my judgment we're going to need some greater flexibility there as we reorder our priorities in a way that does emphasize intramodal abilities and will enhance our already rather desirable geographic location when it comes to the distribution of goods throughout Ohio and throughout this region of our country.